made this video about Osho being the complete rascal, and it ruffled some feathers. Some people actually were quite upset. Now, please understand what is the meaning of rascality. The element of rascality that Alan Watts speaks about, it comes from conditioning. So it's a part of human nature. And it is present in every one of us, without exception. So even a guru is not free from that conditioning. And when I say that Osho was a rascal, what I mean is that he is authentic. He was authentic. Because a good person is not capable of being authentic. The goodness prevents us from being our true selves. Our true authenticity cannot be expressed if we are too conformative. And Osho was the most authentic person that I ever came across, because he destroyed all belief systems, just like Jittu Krishnamurti. They both attacked all organizations or groups or sects, even religion. They attacked. But their intention was not their intention was not just to criticize. Their intention was to actually bring a change, a positive change. So rascality is, to me, is neither good or a bad thing. And I think everyone, if all of us accept our element of rascality that we have in us, I think we would come across as more authentic. It is because of inauthenticity that we suffer in our relationships. Because people see us. People see through and through us. No matter how clever we think we are, people see through and through us. And someone in the comments wrote that he wrote that it's a good hook, using the word rascal, good hook. And yes, I did that deliberately to get your attention. And Osho used to do that himself. He deliberately shocked people because that is the only way people get to listen. Otherwise, when you write good things, if you write simple things, people just, we have this tendency, we just brush things off. So there was no judgment in that video towards Osho. I have been listening to Osho since childhood. Yes, I don't practice meditation the way he mentioned, because I don't resonate with that. Plus, some of his ideas like giving Shakti path and awakening the third eye through touch, I don't think I never believed that that's a good idea. Because Shakti path is something which can invoke psychosis. Not every person is capable of handling that kind of energetic exchange. So I don't subscribe to those ideas. And that is what I called as nonsense. And of course, what happened in the Oregon County and all the mess that was created, I cannot deny that. Yes, it happened. All the mess happened. So, just because of that, I don't dismiss his entire message. And there's one more thing which most people said in the comments, and that was that Osho was a rich man's guru. Maybe in the West he was the rich man's guru, but in the East, for those of you who have not heard his Hindi lectures, you have missed out on 90% of what Osho has taught. If you're listening only to English lectures which he gave in the United States, you are only learning 10% of what Osho was capable of. In his Hindi lectures, Osho addresses concerns of a common man. He talks about teachings of Kabir. And Kabir was not a rich man. Kabir Das, the mystic, the sage, was a very ordinary man, and his teachings were extraordinary. So, how can we say that Osho was only a rich man's guru? And I do admit that he got a bit swayed. He bought too much of this, too much into this whole guru and disciple paradigm, and then I think he at some point he started taking it too seriously, and then he was surrounded by people all over who took a lot of advantage as well. Now again, what is this good person? When I see Osho as consciousness, consciousness is not limited to our idea of good or bad. Consciousness is all encompassing. And you don't need a guru to know that. This is your direct experience. This is something you can see. So I say that I too am a rascal. But I'm not as courageous, as big a rascal as Osho. I wish I was, but I'm not. Plus, I don't have any ill feeling towards any religion. You take me to Gurdwara, you take me to temple, you take me to masjid, mosque. Take me any place. I'm perfectly content and happy in that environment. Because whenever I go to any religious place, my mind becomes blank. Even when my father passed away, and I was told to, visit a Gurdwara, there is this place near in Punjab, where we, like in our religion, Sikh religion, we burn the body and then put ashes into the river. So I went to this place with my father's ashes, and I was told that you ask for your father's peace in the Gurdwara. And the moment I entered Gurdwara in front of the Guru Granth Sahib, my mind went blank. And that has always happened to me. Even when I go to a temple, my mind becomes blank. I see the formless in the form. And this has been happening to me since childhood. So it is my personal experience. It is not something I've read somewhere. And I enjoy reading teachings of Guru Granth Sahib. I enjoy reading teachings of Kabir Das. I enjoy reading teachings of Sufi mystics as well. So I don't limit myself in any way. And I think Osho also never limited himself in any way. For example, the idea of Krishna. For me, Krishna is the supreme beyond any good or bad. Krishna is pure consciousness. And I've got nothing to do with any organization. I'm just saying that Krishna, for me, means supreme bliss. Consciousness that is the totality of all functioning. So, how is Krishna different from non duality? One gentleman asked me, are you a Krishna Bhakt or a non dualist? How are the two separate? I don't see any separation between Krishna or non duality or awareness. So, the idea of calling Osho a rascal was only to, the idea of that video was to only convey this idea, convey this thing that authenticity comes from rascality. And to know one's own rascality is actually freedom. Because then you don't worry about right and wrong. And when you don't worry about right and wrong, you stop people pleasing. It doesn't mean that you become a jerk. It doesn't mean you become disrespectful towards people. What it means is that you simply live spontaneously. You act according to the situations, and whatever your reaction or action is, you don't judge yourself for that. I think there is a verse in the Bible, I cannot recall at this point, there is a verse in the Bible that also says that to know one's own flaws and to accept them is one of the greatest accomplishments. Because only when you know yourself properly will you be able to have a fulfilling relationship with the others. And if you are continuously worry what the other will think about you or what opinion they will have about you, then, then life is pure suffering. Because you cannot please people. Neither can you please people nor can you change people. Only the universe changes people. People change through understanding, not through forced opinions or forced ideas or beliefs. Because force is a mechanism of the ego mind. So when force is applied from one side, from one ego, the other ego immediately creates a reaction. It creates a shield. So there is no communication happening from one end to the other. And as I mentioned in that video, that Osho sowed the seeds of spirituality in me. If I hadn't listened to Osho, I think I would not be on the spiritual path. I gained a lot of wisdom from him. Yes, I do not agree with him. I do not, in fact, all the masters, there are some things which I do not agree because they do not match my personal experience. But that does not mean that I invalidate everything about them. I borrow what is good, and what I feel is bad, I keep it on the back burner. I keep those ideas. and I'm still exploring them, you know, because I feel that I still don't know. And maybe there is a possibility that some of my experiences in future will teach me about those ideas, those things, which I may not be able to accept at this point, but maybe at a future point I do get to know. So I keep my mind open. So the intention of that video was not to disrespect Osho. How do you disrespect a rascal? You cannot. You can only disrespect a good man, a good person. You cannot touch a rascal.